Today we'll be doing Mathbox 7.12, page 247, equivalent fractions. There are two rules that you can use to find the equivalent fraction for a fraction. One is multiplication. When multiplying, the way you use multiplication is multiplying the denominators and the numerators by the same number. There's also the other rule is dividing. So it would be dividing the numerators and the denominators by the same number. Let's do our first equivalent fraction. So what it wants us to do is find the equivalent fraction for 2 over 24. So what we're going to do, let's first do some multiplication. So let's do times 2. The number you can multiply it by almost any number. Smaller numbers are easier to do, but if you want a challenge, then you can do larger and greater numbers. So then we're going to do times 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. So 4 is the numerator. 24 times 2 is 48. So 48 is the denominator. So we have an equivalent fraction for 2 24s, which is 4 48s. Let's do the next equivalent fraction. 6 over 16. So just so you can get the point of getting the equivalent fraction, let's do division for this time. Let's do divide by 2. Let me erase that. So we're going to do dividing by 2. So we're going to divide both by 2. So 6 divided by 2 equals 3. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So an equivalent fraction for 6 over 16 is 3/8. Remember, you can use totally different numbers than just dividing it by 2. The next one, let's do multiplication, and we will divide it by a larger number than 2, or multiply it by a larger number than 2. So now we have 2 tenths. Let's multiply this one by, let's say, 10. So we're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10. So 2 times 10 equals 20. Then 10 times 10 equals 100. So here is another equivalent fraction for 2 tenths, which is 20 over 100. We could also make this a easier fraction by simplifying it to 1/5, because 20 goes into 100 5 times. So let's do 20 100ths, or 1/5. 1/5 would be the equivalent fraction for 2 tenths if you divided it by 2. So now let's do 10 over 12. So what we're going to do here is let's divide this. Now we can only divide this by 2 because it's the lowest number you could possibly divide this. It's the highest number you could divide this by. So 10 divided by 2 and 12 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 equals 5, and 12 divided by 2 equals 6. So our fraction is 5 over 6. So 5 over 6. I'm going to do a larger fraction so we can kind of get the point of that a fraction does not need to be always divided by 2 to get an equivalent fraction for it. So let's find a fraction that would be good. Here. So let's do 20 over 100, the fraction that we just did on the other page, which would be probably a good fraction to do. They both can be divided by 10, or they can both be divided by 5. Let's do 5 because I think 10's a little easier in this situation. So 5's still kind of easy, but we can find the equivalent fraction for this by dividing it by 5. So 20 divided by 5 equals 4. Now 100 divided by 5 equals 20. So 4 over 20. Let's simplify that so it's an easier fraction to understand. Let's just divide them by 2 because it's the greatest number you can divide them by. So 4 divided by 2 equals 2, and 20 divided by 2 equals 10. So there's 2/10 would be an equivalent fraction for 20 100ths. Thanks for watching PJ's Math Productions.